Thank you for joining us for this information session. Tonight we will be discussing the online and part-time graduate programs in civil engineering offered through the Whiting School of Engineering at Johns Hopkins University. My name is Cheryl Williams, and I am the Assistant Director of Recruitment and Marketing for the Whiting School of Engineering. With me is Dr. Rachel Sangri. Rachel is the chair of our online and part-time civil engineering programs. She is also a lecturer for the Whiting School's full-time programs in civil engineering. She is also a graduate of Johns Hopkins, having earned her PhD in civil engineering in 2006. Rachel, would you like to say hello?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for your interest in EP Civil Engineering, and I'm looking forward to telling you more about the program in just a few minutes.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Rachel. For tonight's presentation, we'll start off with an introduction to Johns Hopkins Engineering. Next, Rachel will discuss with you more about our online and part-time degree programs in civil engineering. Then we'll talk about some helpful information and tuition and payment options, talk about next steps and important dates, and we'll end with a live question and answer session. If you have any questions at any point in the presentation, please type them into the questions tab on your control panel. If you are joining us via a cell phone or a tablet, simply select the question mark to access the question section. We'll address all questions at the end of the presentation. So why study engineering at Johns Hopkins University? Johns Hopkins University was founded in 1876 as the nation's first research university. The School of Engineering opened its doors in 1913, and in 1915 it began offering part-time engineering coursework as night classes for technical workers. Since then, we've grown to offer more than 20 master's programs that can be completed part-time. 18 of these programs can be completed entirely online. Our programs are designed by people who thoroughly understand your industry. We like to say that our programs are for engineers by engineers. Our faculty are expert and working engineers, and our faculty and instructional designers construct new and update existing coursework every year so that it includes the most up-to-date information. In addition to our part-time programs, the Whiting School of Engineering has over 25 research centers and institutes. This includes our strong partnership with the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory in Laurel, Maryland. We also offer full-time bachelor's, master's, and PhD programs that are conducted in residence at our Homewood campus in Baltimore. Our online and part-time programs are led by respected senior engineers from our Applied Physics Laboratory and faculty from our full-time programs. We are ranked in the top 20 best online graduate engineering programs by U.S. News & World Report. And of all the schools that are included in these rankings, we have the largest online part-time student population. So not only will you have lots of fellow students going through a similar learning experience, but these rankings really speak to the quality of our programs regardless of our size, and our school is experienced and well equipped to help you navigate graduate education as an online student. The degree that you earn studying with us part-time is of the same quality as our full-time degree programs. Your diploma will not say online or part-time. You are eligible and highly encouraged to participate in commencement, and as a graduate, you will be one of more than 28,000 Whiting School alumni and will join our esteemed international alumni community. So that is an overview of who we are and the value of our programs. Now Rachel is going to talk to you more about our programs in civil engineering. Rachel?
Hi again. So again, I'm the EP program chair for civil engineering. We're a relatively small program, so if you decide to study at Hopkins, I'll also be your advisor. A little bit about my background. I graduated from Bucknell University with a Bachelor of Science and a Master of Science in Civil Engineering. I worked in the bridge design group of a civil engineering firm in Baltimore for a few years. So I'm a structural engineer by training, and I have my PE. I earned my PhD in civil engineering from Hopkins in 2006, which I think Cheryl mentioned, and I studied historic wooden trusses used in covered bridges. So I'm also very interested in the treatment of existing structures, and we call that preservation engineering in the EP program. I've done some small projects with the National Park Service in recent years, but I spend most of my professional time teaching structural engineering classes in the full-time civil engineering program to our undergraduate students. I also teach one course in the EP program on the design of wood structures. So we have two programs available. You can work towards your Master of Civil Engineering degree or your graduate certificate. And if you're working on your Master of Civil Engineering degree, if you're interested in that program, you have the option of doing a structural engineering focus or just a general civil engineering program of study. So even though we have that structural engineering focus, it doesn't mean that we don't have courses in other civil engineering areas. We offer courses in geotechnical engineering, coastal engineering, and as I mentioned before, preservation engineering, which is sort of an area of structural engineering. Our degree structure, it depends on which of those programs you're following. So if you're doing the structural engineering focus or the general civil engineering program, both of those require one math course. Um, the the structural engineering focus area requires one core engineering course, and the general civil engineering um, program requires two core courses. And then depending on which of those programs you're following, you are required to take 7 to 8 elective courses to make up the 10 courses that makes up the full program. You have to complete that program within 5 years. So we have a couple of sample programs here, just to give you an idea of what those math courses and core courses and electives, how they shake out. So for example, if you're doing a structural engineering focus, you would take one math course, that mathematical methods for engineers. You would take one required core course, which is our structural mechanics course. And then you would take 5 courses that are really specific to structural engineering. There are more than 5 that are offered, so you have some options. So this is just an example, but perhaps you would take advanced steel design, advanced reinforced concrete, pre-stressed concrete, wood structures, earthquake engineering. And then you would have 3 electives within civil engineering, but maybe outside of structural engineering to play with. So maybe advanced foundation design. We're offering a BIM class, building information modeling, and maybe one of our preservation engineering courses. And if you're following the general civil engineering degree, again, there's that required math course. And because it's a general degree and you're going to be presumably then taking courses sort of more broadly from the civil engineering field, there are actually 2 core engineering courses required. One of those is a geotechnical engineering foundational course, and the other is the structural mechanics course. So those are both required for the general civil engineering program. And then 6 program electives, so within civil engineering, 6 electives. They could be from structures, coastal, geotech, preservation, and then 1 course outside of civil. And this is sort of a recognition of the fact that civil engineering is a pretty broad field, right? And you might want to take a course from mechanical engineering or environmental engineering that would be absolutely applicable to your professional life, but not offered through civil engineering. So the example here is maybe a sustainable development and next generation buildings. That's actually offered through environmental engineering. Our admissions requirements are a bachelor's degree in civil engineering and a GPA from your undergraduate program of a 3.0 or above. No GRE is required. If you don't have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, there are, of course, degrees that are closely related. And so we're happy to take a look at your application in that case. And there may be some prerequisite courses that you need to take before we'll fully accept you to the program, and we can let you know that. So there are 2 program pathways. You can do your degree completely online. So if you're not local to the Baltimore, Washington area, you can take these 10 courses, including the core courses, fully online. That's an option. Some of our courses are not online, particularly some of our geotechnical engineering courses and our preservation engineering courses, um, and our coastal. So if you want to take some of those, you might end up with a sort of blended degree program. Of course, that would only work if you are local to Baltimore, Washington area, but you might find that you want to take some of those courses. And if you do, you'd be taking those at Homewood campus. So Homewood campus is the campus of the Whiting School of Engineering, and that's where our traditional on-site face-to-face courses are offered. So just to give you an idea of the available online courses at this point, we're always adding more, but this is a list, and so I'll just give you a moment to take a look at those. The first several there are all currently offered online. Most of our courses are offered on a biennial schedule, so every other year. The exceptions are mathematical methods for engineers, that's offered every term. And structural mechanics is offered once a year because it is that core course for both the structural engineering focus and the general civil engineering program. The 4 courses listed at the bottom are currently in development, and so if you're only applying right now, you should have those courses available to you by the time or before you're finished. So we're very proud of our instructors in the civil engineering program. Most of our classes are taught by professional engineers who have reached heights of success in their fields, and now want to get back to the civil engineering community. So for example, pre-stressed concrete is taught by Dr. Carol Hayek. She's a PhD graduate from Johns Hopkins, who is now the Chief Technology Officer for a specialty contractor of post-tension slabs. Dr. Hayek currently serves on the Post-Tensioning Institute Technical Advisory Board, and she was recently awarded the PTI Fellow Award. Dr. Jay Harris is a research structural engineer at NIST who conducts experimental and analytical earthquake engineering research for buildings and also implements research results into model building codes. He teaches our structural mechanics course and is currently developing our earthquake engineering course. And finally, between her roles as professor and chair of naval architecture and ocean engineering, Professor Sarah Mooring of the Naval Academy finds time to teach our classes in coastal engineering.
All right. Thank you so much, Rachel. Now we'd like to share some information with you to help you take this next step. Some of the most common questions that our admissions team gets from prospective students is, what is the tuition and what resources are available to help me pay? So here it is. Our tuition is currently $4,250 per course. Our courses are each 3 credits, so this is the total tuition cost for each 3-credit course. Because our tuition fluctuates every year due to inflation, we encourage students to budget $45,000 total for the cost of their degree. This may exclude the cost of books and materials. The cost of books and materials really varies depending on the coursework that you register for. But in addition to tuition, our online and part-time students do not pay any fees. So there's no technology fee that our students need to pay on a semester basis. Our online and part-time students don't pay any type of student union fee, for example. We do not charge a fee to submit your application for admissions, so there is no application fee. The only fee that our students pay is a fee at the end of their course of study with us, known as a graduate's fee. You have a variety of financing options available to you depending on your personal circumstance. I really encourage you to investigate and to take advantage of any education benefits that your employer may offer. A large portion, if not like the majority of our students enrolled in our online and part-time programs are using some sort of employer provided tuition assistance. We unfortunately do not have any scholarships available for our online and part-time students, but there are other associations and organizations that do. For example, the National Consortium for Graduate Degrees for Minorities in Engineering, otherwise known as the National GEM Consortium, offers fellowship programs. Rules, requirements, and application instructions can be found on GEM's website. The application for these fellowship programs is open from July 1st to November 13th. If you are a U.S. citizen or a qualifying U.S. resident, you may be eligible to use financial aid. The financial aid that's available for graduate students is largely unsubsidized loans. So similar to that, you can, of course, finance your education through a personal loan. And if you are active duty or retired military and you have veterans benefits, you can, of course, utilize these to finance your education. We do have a number of active duty and retired military enrolled in our online and part-time programs. If you're planning on using veterans benefits to finance your education, here are some things to keep in mind. The URL that you see here on your screen, ep.jhu.edu/veterans, has some great information on what forms you need to complete and submit in order to utilize veterans benefits at Johns Hopkins. For students using Chapter 33 post 9/11 benefits, the Department of Veterans Affairs sets an annual cap on tuition for private schools. That cap is $23,671.94, and that's for an entire academic school year. So it includes the fall, spring, and summer semesters, and then it renews every fall. So 5 courses with us will cost you $21,250, so that is underneath the tuition cap. 6 courses, however, will exceed that tuition cap. The cost for 6 courses is $25,500. Johns Hopkins is a yellow ribbon school. How yellow ribbon works at Johns Hopkins is that it is applied if the tuition cap has been exceeded, and if it is exceeded, qualifying students can receive up to $1,000 per year. It's awarded on a first come first served basis. Coming this fall, there are some changes regarding how the VA will be calculating the housing allowance for Chapter 33 recipients. BAH, your basic housing allowance, will be calculated using the zip code for your on-site classes, i.e. the physical location of the classroom utilized. We are happy to announce that Hopkins offers various networking opportunities for our veteran students. For our current students, there is an online networking group available via LinkedIn. Simply search the Johns Hopkins University Veterans Connection Group or just Johns Hopkins Veterans in LinkedIn in order to find that group. For alumni, we have a networking group that's offered through our Alumni Affinity office. You can learn more about this by visiting alumni.jhu.edu. Students who are educated outside of the U.S. do have some additional admissions requirements. They must submit an international credit evaluation of any credit earned at non-U.S. institutions. We prefer that they go through WES, that's a third-party credit evaluation service for this evaluation. These students must also provide proof of English proficiency via, for example, qualifying scores on a TOEFL exam. Unfortunately, international students studying on an F1 student visa are not eligible to enroll in our online and part-time graduate programs, as our registrar's office can no longer issue these students an I-20. The I-20 is the form necessary to maintain an F1 student visa. It confirms the location of a student's classes and that the student is indeed taking an in-person class at the university. We are migrating more and more of our coursework online at the request of our students. And so because we are doing this across all of our programs, the registrar's office has made a decision kind of en masse that we are not able to confidently certify that we have enough on-site courses for these students to meet their residency requirements. However, international students are permitted to study with us online from their home country. So you can, of course, enroll in these programs and study with us. You will just have to study with us online. Next steps and important dates. If you are interested in studying with us, your first or your next step is to submit your application for admission. So you can do this by visiting the URL that you see here on your screen, ep.jhu.edu/apply. Your next step is to submit your academic transcripts and your professional resume. Just a tip, the instructions for where to submit your transcript or how to submit your transcript and where to send your professional resume is actually included on the online application. It's actually listed above uh, at that URL above the physical application form. So you can find all of that information at that URL. We offer rolling admissions for our online and part-time students. It typically takes our admissions department and the academic department 4 to 6 weeks from when we receive a student's completed application. So that's their online application plus their academic transcripts and their professional resume. 4 to 6 weeks to review that packet and then issue that applicant a decision letter. So with that timeline in mind, here are some important dates. Fall registration is right around the corner. Fall registration opens on July the 5th, and then the fall semester begins on August the 27th. So there's tons of time for you to submit your application documents for the fall. Just given that 4 to 6 week turnaround time, I would encourage you, if you are interested in studying with us in the fall, to submit your documents by June 15th if possible. The spring semester is right around the corner. It's going to be here sooner, uh, you know, before you know it. Registration opens on October the 25th, and then the spring semester begins on January the 28th. So lots of time for you to submit your application for the spring semester.